Jack Miller never expected to inherit billions from his Uncle Fred. He also never expected that the inheritance would come with Lyra, a stunning blue-skinned alien woman who had been his uncle's secret companion for years. The day started like any other. Jack worked at a small computer repair shop in town. He fixed laptops and helped old people set up their email. He made enough to pay rent and buy food, but not much else. He lived in a small apartment and drove a car that broke down at least once a month. When the phone rang that morning, Jack almost ignored it. He was busy trying to remove a virus from an old computer. But something made him answer. "Mr. Miller, this is Alan West. I was your Uncle Fred's lawyer. Your uncle has passed away and you need to come to his estate as soon as possible. You are his only living relative and the sole heir to his fortune." Jack almost dropped the phone. His Uncle Fred? He barely knew the man. They had met only a few times when Jack was young. Uncle Fred had been strange and secretive. He lived in a mansion outside of town and rarely came out. He made his money from inventing things. Jack had heard rumors about government contracts and secret projects. 2 hours later, Jack stood at the gates of a massive estate. He had no idea his uncle was this wealthy. The mansion looked like something from a movie with tall columns and huge windows. A security guard checked his ID and let him in. Inside, Jack met Alan West, a thin older man with glasses who led him to a large office. The lawyer sat behind a desk covered with papers. "Your uncle was worth approximately $4 billion. Mr. West said. Jack felt dizzy. That was more money than he could imagine. "All of this now belongs to you. But there are certain conditions." Jack nodded, still trying to process everything. "What conditions?" Mr. West pressed a button on the desk. "There is someone you need to meet." The door opened, and Jack forgot how to breathe. A woman walked in, but she was unlike any woman Jack had ever seen. She was tall, almost 7 feet, with perfect curves and graceful movements. But what made Jack stare was her skin. It was blue, a deep sapphire blue that seemed to glow from within. Her hair was like liquid platinum flowing down to her waist. Her eyes were large, almond-shaped and silver with no whites or pupils, just shimmering silver pools. "This is Lyra," Mr. West said. "She has been living with your uncle for the past 10 years. She is not from Earth." Jack looked from the lawyer to the alien woman and back. "Is this a joke?" Lyra stepped forward with impossible grace. "It is no joke, Jack Miller," she said. Her voice had a musical quality that made his heart beat faster. "I am from a planet you would call Astrania in a star system you have not yet discovered." Jack fell back into his chair. "This can't be real. Aliens aren't real. Your government knows of my existence." Lyra continued. "A few selected officials. I crashed here 10 years ago. Your uncle found me before they could. He protected me. In return, I helped him with technology from my world. This is how he made his fortune." Mr. West cleared his throat. "Your uncle had an arrangement with certain government agencies. Lyra was allowed to stay with him as her guardian. When he learned of his illness, he changed his will, naming you as her new guardian. If you refuse, she will be taken to a government facility for research. She will be treated as a specimen, not a person." Jack looked at the blue-skinned woman. She stood tall and proud, but he could see fear in those silver eyes. The thought of her locked in some lab made him feel sick despite barely knowing her. "What would I have to do?" Jack asked. "Simply allow her to live here." Mr. West said. "Continue the arrangement your uncle had. The mansion has security systems and privacy. Your uncle set up a trust that will maintain the property and give you a substantial income. All you need to do is stay here and ensure Lyra remains safe." That night, after the lawyer left, Jack wandered the enormous mansion, trying to process everything. The house had 20 rooms, a pool, a home theater, and even an observatory. He found himself in the kitchen staring at the refrigerator, wondering if aliens ate the same food as humans. "I eat similar foods to you," Lyra said from behind him, making him jump. She moved so quietly, Jack wondered if she could float. "You can read my mind?" Jack asked nervously. Lyra smiled, showing perfect white teeth. "No, but your thoughts were obvious. I can sense emotions and intentions. It is a trait of my species. She moved to the refrigerator and took out some fruit. I prefer sweeter foods, she said, biting into an apple. Your uncle kept the kitchen well stocked for me. Jack watched her eat the apple like it was the most fascinating thing he had ever seen. Why did my uncle never tell anyone about you about all this? Lyra sat at the kitchen island for protection. Mine and his. The technology I shared with him was valuable. Many would kill for it, or worse, try to take me apart to understand how I work. Why me? Jack asked. I barely knew him. Lyra looked at him with those silver eyes. Your uncle watched you from afar. He knew you were kind. He saw how you helped others. Even when you had little yourself, he believed you would do the right thing. As Jack tried to sleep that night in one of the mansion's many bedrooms, he wondered what the right thing was. His life had changed completely in one day. He now had more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes, and he was responsible for an alien woman who the government might want to dissect. Tomorrow he would learn just how dangerous his new life would be. Two men in black suits stood at the door. They were tall with serious faces and dark sunglasses despite the cloudy day. Mr. Miller once said, "We are Agents Clark and Wilson from the Bureau of Extraterrestrial Management. We had an arrangement with your uncle. We understand you are his heir." Jack tried to look confident. Yes, I just learned about everything yesterday. The agents exchanged glances. May we come in? Agent Clark asked. Jack stepped aside, letting them enter. The men looked around, taking in the mansion with practiced eyes. Where is the subject? Agent Wilson asked. Jack frowned. Her name is Lyra. The agents' faces remained blank. Where is Lyra? Then, before Jack could answer, Lyra appeared in the hallway. She wore a simple blue dress that matched her skin. Her platinum hair was tied back. Her presence filled the room, making the agents look ordinary and dull in comparison. Gentlemen, she said, nodding to them. I have prepared the monthly data package. She held out a small metallic cube. Agent Clark took it carefully. Has your new guardian been briefed on the arrangement? Yes, Lyra said. He understands the terms. We will need to speak with him alone. Agent Wilson said. Lyra looked at Jack, then nodded. Very well. I will be in the laboratory if you need me. She walked away, her movements graceful and fluid. The agents watched her go, then turned to Jack. We need to be clear about several things, Agent Clark said. First, the arrangement exists because the technology provided is valuable to national security. Second, if you fail to maintain the arrangement, Lyra will be relocated to a government facility. Jack crossed his arms. My uncle left very clear instructions. I intend to follow them. Agent Wilson removed his sunglasses, revealing cold gray eyes. Your uncle was a brilliant man with connections in high places. You are a nobody who fixed computers for minimum wage until yesterday. Some in our organization question whether you are qualified for this responsibility. Jack felt anger rising. She is not property. She is a person. You can't just take her. Agent Clark smiled without warmth. According to United States law, she is not a person. She is an extraterrestrial entity under government supervision. Your guardianship is a privilege, not a right-a-phone. Rang. Agent Wilson answered it, stepping away to talk quietly. Jack could see tension in the man's posture. Agent Clark continued. Your first official review will be in 30 days. I suggest you study your uncle's notes carefully. The technology provided must meet our standards, Agent. Wilson returned, looking troubled. We need to go, he said to his partner. Something has happened. They moved toward the door. Agent Clark paused. Remember, Mr. Miller, 30 days. Then we decide if this arrangement continues after. They left. Jack found Lyra in the laboratory. She was working with equipment he didn't recognize. Her hands moved quickly, adjusting controls and studying readings. What are you doing? Jack asked, scanning for surveillance devices. Lyra said, They always try to leave something behind. Your uncle taught me to check after every visit. She pointed to a small metal object on the table. They put this in the entryway. It can record conversations within 50 feet. Jack picked up the bug. It looked like a button. So small, but so dangerous. What happened? Did they find what they wanted? Lyra shook her head. The technology I provided was basic. Your uncle prepared several months of data before he died, each slightly more advanced than the last. This will buy us time. Jack sat on a stool watching her work. What did they mean about deciding in 30 days? Lyra stopped working, her silver eyes meeting his. The agreement requires approval from Beam leadership every 30 days. Your uncle had friends in the agency who ensured approval. Now with him gone, they will evaluate you. They want to see if you can continue providing valuable technology. But I don't know anything about your technology. Jack said, panicked. I fix laptops. I don't invent things, Lyra. Placed a cool blue hand on his arm. Your uncle knew this. He left detailed notes and I can guide you. But Jack, there is something else you should know. The technology we have been providing is only a fraction of what I know. Your uncle and I held back the most advanced knowledge. It would be too dangerous in the wrong hands. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. He found himself in the mansion's library, searching through his uncle's books. Most were scientific texts, far beyond his understanding. He pulled out a leather journal hidden behind the books. The journal contained handwritten notes, diagrams, and equations. Jack recognized his uncle's handwriting from the video. The entries detailed his work with Lyra and his growing distrust of Bem. The last entry, dated just weeks before, was troubling. Beam is compromised. I confirmed today that the HPA has infiltrated the agency. 3 of the board members who approved Lyra's arrangement are secretly aligned with Purity Doctrine. I don't know how much longer I can protect her. I have made arrangements for Jack, but I fear it won't be enough. The HPA grows stronger each day. Their rhetoric has reached the highest levels of government. If they learn what Lyra really is, what her people really want, they will stop at nothing to destroy her. Jack closed the journal. What did his uncle mean? What Lyra really is? What her people really want? He had assumed she was just a stranded alien. But was there more to the story? He found Lyra in the observatory. She stood by a powerful telescope gazing at the stars. Her blue skin seemed to glow in the dim light. Couldn't sleep, she asked without turning. Jack approached, standing beside her. I found my uncle's journal. Some of his notes were concerning. What did he mean about what you really are? What your people really want? Lyra was quiet for a long moment. I have not been entirely truthful with you, Jack. She turned to face him. I was not simply exploring when I crashed here. I was sent with a purpose, Jack. Felt a chill. What purpose? To evaluate Earth and humanity. My people, the Astrani, are dying. Our planet is becoming uninhabitable. Our sun is expanding faster than we predicted. We need a new home. Jack stepped back. Are you saying your people want to invade Earth? Lyra shook her head. No, we do not conquer. We seek partnership, symbiosis. We believe humans and Astrani could live together, sharing knowledge and resources. Our species are remarkably compatible. We could even produce offspring together, ensuring both our species survive. She turned back to the telescope. My mission was to evaluate if humans were ready for contact, to see if peaceful coexistence was possible. Your uncle believed it was possible. He helped me send messages to my people. They have been watching, preparing. Jack tried to process this information. An entire alien civilization wanting to come to Earth. No wonder the Human Purity Alliance was worried. No wonder Bem was interested in Lyra when Jack asked, when would they come? Lyra adjusted the telescope. Soon they await my signal. I have been sending data about Earth culture, language, and biology to help them prepare for peaceful integration. Outside, a dog barked, then fell silent. Lyra tensed. Something is wrong. The security system should have alerted us. A loud crash came from downstairs. The sound of breaking glass and heavy footsteps. Jack felt panic rising. Lyra grabbed his arm. We need to hide, she whispered. They found us. The HPA. Jack woke to sunlight streaming through enormous windows. He forgot where he was for a moment. Then everything came rushing back. His uncle, the inheritance, the alien woman. He found clean clothes in the closet that somehow fit him perfectly. He made his way downstairs following the smell of coffee. The kitchen was massive with every appliance imaginable. Lyra stood at the stove cooking something that smelled delicious. "You cook?" Jack asked. Surprised, Lyra turned and smiled. "I learned many Earth customs during my time with your uncle. Cooking is one I enjoy." She placed a plate of eggs and bacon on the island counter. "Your uncle had the same breakfast every day?" Jack sat down and took a bite. "It was perfect. How long were you with my Uncle 10 of your Earth years?" Lyra said, sitting across from him with her own plate. Her food looked similar, but with strange purple berries on the side. "I crashed in the forest behind this property. My ship was damaged beyond repair. Your uncle found me injured. He brought me here and nursed me back to health. When government agents came looking, he hid me. He was a good man." Jack nodded, eating more of the delicious breakfast. "What did you do for him exactly?" "You said you gave him technology." Lyra waved her hand, and a holographic display appeared above the table. Jack gasped. The image showed complex diagrams and equations. "Your uncle was already a brilliant inventor," Lyra explained. "But I showed him how to improve his designs. I helped him create energy-efficient systems that your world has not yet discovered. We worked together to adapt my knowledge to Earth materials and capabilities. The patents made him wealthy." The hologram disappeared. Jack stared at the space where it had been. Was that magic? Lyra laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "Not magic technology. My people are approximately 300 of your years more advanced than humans. I have neural implants that allow me to interface with systems and project data after breakfast." Lyra gave Jack a tour of the mansion. There were rooms he had never imagined, a laboratory with equipment he didn't recognize, a greenhouse with plants that definitely weren't from Earth, a secure room with walls that Lyra explained could block any signal or scan. The tour ended at a heavy door that required both a key and a handprint to open. "This was your uncle's most private space," Lyra said. "No one else was allowed inside." "Not even me." Jack placed his hand on the scanner, surprised when it glowed green. The door opened, revealing a small office with a desk and computer. Nothing special compared to the rest of the house. The computer turned on automatically. The screen showed a video of an older man who looked a bit like Jack. "Hello, nephew," the man said. "If you're seeing this, then I'm dead and you've accepted the inheritance, including guardianship of Lyra. I know we never really knew each other. That was my fault, not yours. I had to keep my distance to protect my work and to protect her." Uncle Fred looked tired in the video, his eyes sunken, his skin pale. "What I'm about to tell you will sound crazy, but it's all true. Lyra is not the only alien on Earth. There are others. Some friendly, some not. The government knows about some of them, but not all. The agency that made the agreement for Lyra is called the Bureau of Extraterrestrial Management, BM. They allowed her to stay with me because of the technology she provided." The video showed images of official-looking documents and photos of men in black suits. "BM will honor our arrangement as long as you follow the rules. Keep Lyra on the property. Don't let her be seen in public. Don't tell anyone about her. Continue providing them with technological insights once a month. But nephew, be careful. Some in the government want more. They want to take Lyra to study her. They believe her biology holds secrets they can use for weapons." Uncle Fred leaned closer to the camera. "There is another group too. They call themselves the Human Purity Alliance. They believe all aliens are a threat. They would kill Lyra if they found her. They've infiltrated parts of the government, the military, even BEM trusts no one." The video ended. Jack sat in the chair staring at the blank screen. He turned to Lyra, who stood in the doorway. "Is all that true?" Jack asked. "The government, the human purity." "Whatever." Lyra nodded, her silver eyes sad. "Yes, your uncle protected me from both groups. The official agreement with BEM keeps me safe legally. But there are those within the organization who want more from me than I can give. And the HPA, they are dangerous. They believe all non-humans should be eliminated. Jack ran his hands through his hair, processing everything. This was insane. Yesterday, he was fixing computers in a small shop. Now he was protecting an alien woman from government agents and alien hunters. What do we do? Jack asked. We continue as your uncle did. Lyra said, we stay here. We follow the rules. We give BM enough technology to keep them satisfied, but not enough to let them build weapons. Loud buzzing sound interrupted them. Lyra tensed. Security alert, she said. Someone is at the gate. They hurried to the security room. A wall of monitors showed every angle of the property. The front gate showed a black SUV with government plates. They are from BM. Lyra said they come on the 1st of every month to collect data and check on me. Your uncle usually prepared files for them. Jack looked at her nervously. What do I do? Lyra moved to a computer and typed quickly. The screen filled with diagrams and equations. Most of this was prepared by your uncle before he died, she explained. This should satisfy them. Tell them you are still settling in and need time to review the arrangement. They will understand. Jack took a deep breath and headed for the front door. As he walked, he realized his life would never be the same again. He was now responsible for an alien woman coveted by two dangerous groups, one that wanted to use her and one that wanted to kill her. He opened the door. To face his new reality, Lyra pulled Jack through a hidden door in the observatory wall. The narrow passage led down a spiral staircase Jack had never seen before. Your uncle built escape routes throughout the house, Lyra explained as they descended. The security system should have alerted us. It must have been disabled. They reached the bottom of the stairs, entering a small concrete room with monitors showing security camera feeds. Men in tactical gear moved through the mansion. They carried weapons and wore patches with an eagle symbol. Human Purity Alliance, Jack whispered, watching the armed men search room by room. How did they find us? Lyra touched a control panel, activating another screen. It showed the black SUV from earlier parked down the road. The agents, they must have planted more than one bug, Lyra said. One we missed. Or perhaps they tracked the agents themselves. A loud explosion rocked the house. One of the monitors went dark. They are destroying the laboratory, Lyra said, her voice tight. They want to eliminate any alien technology. Jack watched helplessly as the intruders systematically searched the mansion, getting closer to the observatory. Where does this passage lead? He asked. To the garage. Lyra said, there is a vehicle your uncle prepared for emergencies. They hurried through another narrow corridor, emerging in a large garage filled with expensive cars. In the corner sat a rugged black SUV unlike the others. This one, Lyra said, opening the driver door. It has reinforced armor, bulletproof glass, and a special engine your uncle and I designed. It can outrun anything. On the road, Jack climbed into the passenger seat as Lyra started the engine. The garage door began to open. Wait, Jack said. They will see us. Lyra pressed a button on the dashboard. Hold on. The SUV shot forward faster than Jack thought possible. They burst through the garage door and sped down the driveway. Shouts and gunfire erupted behind them. Bullets pinged off the vehicle but did no damage. Lyra drove with incredible skill, taking turns at speeds that should have flipped the car. The engine made almost no sound despite their speed. Where are we going? Jack asked, gripping the dashboard. Your uncle prepared a safe house, Lyra said, a place not connected to him. A place BM doesn't know about. They drove for hours, taking back roads and changing direction often. Lyra seemed to know exactly where to go even without a map. They finally stopped at a small cabin deep in the forest, miles from any town. This is it, Lyra said. Killing the engine. Your uncle bought this property under a fake name. No paper trail, no digital record. The cabin looked ordinary from outside, but inside Jack found it was anything but ordinary. The main room contained advanced computers and communication equipment. A wall slid aside, revealing a laboratory similar to the one in the mansion, but smaller. Your uncle prepared for this possibility, Lyra explained. He knew the HPA might find us eventually. Jack collapsed into a chair, the events of the day catching up with him. Who are these people? How do they have so much power? Lyra activated the computers, checking systems. The Human Purity Alliance began as a fringe group 20 years ago after the first confirmed alien contact. They believe all non-human life is a threat to Earth. They have grown powerful with supporters in government, military, and intelligence agencies. She pulled up files showing news articles and classified documents. The public doesn't know about aliens, but certain officials do. The first contact was kept secret. A crashed ship like mine. The pilot died, but the technology was recovered. BM was formed to handle extraterrestrial matters and technology. Jack read the files, feeling sick. These people want to kill you just because you're not from Earth. Not just me, Lyra said. Any non-human life, they fear what they don't understand, and they especially fear my mission. If they knew my people want to come here to live alongside humans. A thought struck Jack. How many of your people would come? Lyra hesitated. Approximately 500,000 initially. More later if integration is successful. Jack whistled. That's a lot of blue people. Lyra smiled slightly, showing her perfect white teeth. We would not all come at once, and we would establish our own communities at first to ease the transition. We have studied your culture. We understand the shock would be significant. Jack looked at the communication equipment. Is that how you contact your people? Yes, Lyra said. It sends focused signals that are difficult to detect. The equipment at the mansion was more powerful. This is a backup. Can you tell them what happened? Jack asked. That we had to run. Lyra nodded, moving to the equipment. I will send a message, but Jack, they are already on their way. The first ships will arrive within months. Your uncle knew this. He was helping. Prepare. Jack felt overwhelmed. First he inherits billions. Then he learns aliens are real, and now he finds out an entire alien civilization is coming to Earth. It was too much. He stepped outside, needing fresh air. The cabin was surrounded by tall trees. The night sky clear and filled with stars. Somewhere up there, Lyra's people were heading toward Earth. What would happen when they arrived? Would humanity welcome them or fear them? Jack heard a sound and turned. A figure stood at the edge of the clearing. A woman with short blonde hair and a gun pointed at him. Don't move, she said, her voice calm and professional. Jack froze, raising his hands. Who are you? The woman stepped forward, keeping the gun steady. My name is Laura Gray. I work for the government, but not BEM, and definitely not the HPA. How did you find us? Jack asked, trying to keep his voice from shaking. Laura lowered the gun slightly. Was your uncle's contact in intelligence? He trusted me. I monitored the HPA attack on the mansion. I followed you here to warn you. Jack eyed the gun. You bring all your warnings with weapons. Laura smiled slightly. Force of habit. She holstered the gun. The HPA has put out an alert. They're hunting you and Lyra. They have friends in law enforcement, border patrol everywhere. You won't be safe here for long. The cabin door opened. Lyra appeared, her silver eyes assessing Laura instantly. Who is this? Jack. Laura stepped forward. You must be Lyra. Fred told me about you. He never mentioned how beautiful you are. Jack moved between them. She says she worked with my uncle, that he trusted her. Lyra studied the woman. I remember your uncle mentioning Laura. He said she was one of the few humans who understood the bigger picture. Laura nodded. Fred was a visionary. He understood what most humans can't, that our future depends on cooperation, not fear. She turned to Jack. The HPA is only part of the problem. BEM has been compromised. The new director wants Lyra for weapons research. There's a nationwide search for you both. What do we do? Jack asked. Laura looked grim. We need to get Lyra to the rendezvous point. Her people sent coordinates. They have an advance team, already here preparing for first contact. They need her to complete their preparations. Jack looked at Lyra. She nodded. The signal I received earlier was confirmation. An advance ship is hidden in the mountains to the north. My people need me to finalize The contact protocols. Laura checked her watch. We need to move now. The HPA has resources throughout the region. They will find this place soon. As if on cue, a distant sound of helicopters reached them. Jack looked from Lyra to Laura. These people want to kill Lyra, destroy her people. How can we stop them? Laura pulled out car keys. There's only one way. The truth. The world needs to know about aliens, about the Astrani, before the HPA can spread their fear. We need to get Lyra to her people and then go public. The sound of helicopters grew louder. We need to go now, Laura said.